Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hello there everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today I am excited to share with you 7 of my favorite practices for spring. These are the practices I am most looking forward to in the coming season, and as it is starting to feel a little bit warmer outside, the days are growing brighter, the birds are coming back, and some of the flowers are starting, I figured it was the perfect time to talk about these practices. I've really been loving doing this at the turn of each season. I feel like it's very inspiring to me to think about the practices I want to do in this time ahead. I always get so many good ideas from you all, and I also hope that you get some inspiration as well.
Hey, are you here to help? What are you looking forward to this spring?
As always, I will share these practices with you here on this channel or on my other channel, my vlog channel, as the season unfolds. If you're interested in following that channel and following along on these adventures, you can find that in the description down below. Each of these practices should be accessible and are highly adaptable, so they should be able to fit into everybody's practice. And with that, I am excited to dig in, but before we do, this video is sponsored, so let's hear a little bit more about that first. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is a website building and hosting company, and as I'm currently working on putting up a website, it is very exciting to get to partner with them. With Fluid Engine, a next-generation website design system from Squarespace, it's never been easier for anyone to unlock creative design. You get to start with a best-in-class website template and customize every detail with reimagined drag-and-drop technology for desktop or mobile. You can stretch your imagination when it comes to online design with Fluid Engine, built in and ready to go on any new Squarespace site. One thing I really love about Squarespace is their flexible website template. You get to get started with one of their professional website templates with designs for every category and use case. Then customize your look, update the content, and add features to fit your unique needs. You can make any Squarespace template do what you want, so your idea, brand, or business stands out online on every device and can be as unique to you as you dream. Another thing that I really love about Squarespace is the ease of working an online store. Whether you sell physical, digital, or service products, Squarespace has the tools you need to start selling online. So if this sounds interesting to you, go to squarespace.com/thegreenwitch to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring, and let's get back to the video. Alrighty, welcome back. Let's dig into the 7 practices I am most looking forward to this spring season. First and foremost, it should probably come as no surprise to you, maybe it will, but I am most looking forward to doing a big spring cleaning. I know that I just moved into this house and have done basically the exact same ritual that I will do for a spring cleaning, but as it's inevitable with every move, it is utter chaos in here at the moment. We've been here for a month. I feel like we got to a point where everything was settled enough to live here, but we certainly have not unpacked the rest of our lives. And it is just beginning to feel a little bit crazy, and the energy is starting to get caught in corners. So having a beautiful day to really finish putting everything away, which you cannot see in this room, but I got some boxes, and getting those things organized, opening up all the windows, and starting to refresh this space, getting ready for spring in a large spring cleaning is something I am craving. A spring cleaning is pretty much the exact same ritual that I follow for moving in. I may share another video on that, I may not, just because it really is the same. I do use some differing ingredients depending on what I have access to in the season, but for the most part, it's that same kind of practice, going through those styles of steps. So if you're interested, I do have that video that I just posted recently on cleaning a home when you move into a new one. Magically, that is. But a spring cleaning, magical spring cleaning, is important to do to reset the energy of a space after winter, especially because I feel like the winter months become a very stagnant time. Not having the windows open as much and keeping yourselves kind of inside the home for such a long period of the season can really cloud the energy of a space. And so when the days are brighter, the air is warmer, and the weather is nicer, taking the time to really reset with a major refresh is a fantastic way to welcome the season and be able to step forward in this renewed way. Typically, this begins by making sure the mundane part of a home cleaning is done. Put away all the clutter, make sure everything is physically clean, and then begin magically. I like to start by opening all the windows to allow the fresh air in. Then I go through with a smoke cleanse to really knock out any of that energy. Sometimes I also like to go through with a bell to break up the energy as well if it feels particularly stagnant. Then I like to do a wash on the thresholds, typically with chamomile, to purify and protect the space and really create this strong seal. And then I like to go through with a herb and water, just allowing that to shake some good energy into the space. And finally, I top it off with either a blessing candle or a blessing bouquet. This can be as complex or as simple as you would like it to be, and you can use any herbs that call to you for these purposes. I like to stick with the seasons, and I like to stick with some tried and true herbs. For the smoke cleanse, I adore cedar, and rarely do I stray from that. Occasionally I do for specific energies, but it is my absolute favorite herb for burning. But in the sense, going through a spring cleaning really does set you up for the rest of the season beautifully. I do like to do a cleaning at the turn of each season, but nothing is as powerful as a spring cleaning. The next practice that kind of builds on that last practice is a blessing candle for the home. Again, a practice I like to do during most seasons to really welcome the season into my home. Doing a blessing candle, typically at the end of a cleaning, is a fantastic way to really solidify the energy and bring it strongly into your home. And also, well, bless the space with the energy you would like to be there. There are so many different ways to do it in practice as well, but the way that I like to is to dress a candle, surrounding it with herbs that tie to the properties I desire. And of course, tie to the season. Some fantastic herbs for spring include daisies. They are happiness bringing and bring renewal. Birch is also a great herb for renewal and protection. Dandelion, of course, happiness, wishmaking, purification, and also, surprise, surprise, renewal. A lot of spring herbs tie to renewal. And then two of my favorites that I work with almost across the board during the spring months are lilac and nettle. These are both incredibly protective and strong banishing herbs for the spring. Nettle is banishing all the time, but lilac in particular is fantastic at getting rid of the last dregs of winter stagnancy. So I really adore adding lilac to blessing candles for this purpose. Now, a blessing candle can really be for anything. It can be worked with to consecrate a space, to purify an area, to bring happiness or protection, and it's really up to you to pick what you desire. Usually I like to work a couple of different elements of magic into something that is going throughout my whole home, but if you aren't desiring to do a blessing candle, you could do something like a bouquet, which is the next practice I am most looking forward to. Personally, I feel like bouquet magic is often overlooked. It is a powerful means of working, similar to hanging herb bundles or other ways of adorning herbs within the home. They don't last as long because they are fresh bouts of magic, but they are just as powerful, if not more so, given that they are alive for a while. As I said, a bouquet works in just the same way as an herb bundle, or it can work similar to a candle. Now, a bouquet does not always have the same power as a candle because candles bring fire, but if you pick strong herbs, it can. In particular, my favorite herb for bouquet magic in the spring is, again, lilac. It is such a potent banishing herb of that winter stagnancy, as we know, and also I think they're just beautiful. They fill me with a lot of joy. Now, there are some people that believe that lilacs should not be brought into the home. I personally do not feel that way in the least. Ask permission, say thank you. They are a wonderful herb to work with. But of course, follow your heart here. Nettles are also a common addition to bouquets. I know that may seem surprising, as a nettle is kind of prickly and difficult to work with, but they are a powerful choice in this style of magic. Just be careful not to prick yourself. In bouquets, they are particularly protective, especially of health. Of course, daisies are another good addition, happiness and renewal, and daffodils also bring renewal, as well as luck. I have some daffodils growing in my yard. I brought one in today, and it is so beautiful and smells divine. And finally, another wonderful herb for bouquets this time of year that I absolutely adore are tulips. They bring both protection and prosperity, which is perfect. Also, one that I have been loving lately is hellebore. I've been working with it so much. It is all over my house. I actually have some growing here right now. It is a wonderful protective herb this time of year as well. Now, the next practice I am most looking forward to, and one of these videos would not be complete without the mention of it, is a spring door charm. As you probably know if you've been here for a while, I love to reset my door charms with the seasons. Now that it's spring, it's time to do that. These I love to work with herbs that are in abundance or tie strongly to this time of the year, and especially on a door charm, I typically like to work with woodier herbs, so trees or bushes. Some good ones for this time of year include birch, again, that renewal, as well as protection. Cherry is also good for renewal, and apple is great for abundance. I like to pick those two when they have blossoms. But some other good sturdy herbs, nettle, again, we know, very protective, very fiery, very good for a door charm. And I also have been incorporating lately dandelion leaves into door charms, and I've really been enjoying them. They bring a bit of happiness and, again, that renewal. Now, of course, you can work with any herb that you desire. I have dried daffodils before to add and have adored that door charm very deeply, and really anything that calls to you. I do recommend picking things that dry nicely. The springtime doesn't have as many herbs that like to dry and stay together. They're a little bit more delicate this time of year, but there are some out there, so up to you. If they're easy to bind into a door charm, you can also make them into a wreath, which sometimes holds up a little bit better, or alternatively, you can put them in a spell bag for the same effect. Typically, to me, a door charm, it takes the form of either a wreath or a hanging herb bundle, but that is up to you. The fifth thing that I am perhaps most excited for is the start of garden magic. This year I finally have gardening space. I'm so excited about it, and I intend to fill it with so many magical herbs and flowers. Namely, in the spring, you can start growing a few to bring magic to your home and to the garden. Daisy is great for protecting the home. It is particularly well suited to protecting children if you have them, and it is also said to protect against lightning strikes, so kind of a nice win there. Clover, when planted, attracts blessings. Nettles, interestingly, amplify the power and properties of every herb growing in the garden, even after harvested. So I do recommend growing nettles if you can. You can keep them potted if you would like and contained, but just having them there does amplify the power of everything else growing. Now these two are starting to cross into summer herbs, but I do adore them, and you can plant them a little earlier. But chamomile is a wonderful herb to keep your entire garden healthy. It is nicknamed the plant's physician because it really does heal sick plants that it's planted next to. And another herb that I have really been adoring lately is foxglove. It is fiercely protective and fantastic for guarding the home. So planting that or chamomile or any of these in your garden are a fantastic way of bringing power to it. Now, there are endless herbs that bring magic to a garden. These are just some of my favorites that are fairly easy to plant and care for. Most trees and bushes have significant garden magic, so that is worth looking into if you're interested in it. But all herbs have power. And even if they aren't explicitly noted to work power into the garden or the home when grown around, they can still bring power to practice. The next practice I'm very excited about is one that I try to do every year, and it is a spring equinox growth spell. I usually try to paint an egg if I'm able to. If I do not have the time to, I still will use an egg, as it is very symbolic of that time. Fill it with some dirt and a seed that will grow well. And place into that seed, into that egg, my intentions for the year ahead. Then I care for it, taking time to sit with it each day as the plant grows. Eventually, typically this will need to be planted into a bigger pot or into your garden, but the egg will give it power and nutrients. Typically, I see results around the summer solstice. In that quarter of the year, there's a lot of power that grows. This can be for anything, but think of something that you want to grow. A lot of times, spells of this nature are for financial abundance or either some growing success if you're growing a business or aspiring for some growth in your life. These spells hold a lot of power, and it's a very powerful time to sit and work with something that will build. So take some time to do that. I will try to share this spell if I can. It's something that is very intimate to me, but I do think it is a beautiful practice, and I will talk about it more if you're interested. Now, the final practice that I am so looking forward to is to begin making floral honeys and syrups again. I adore floral honey and a syrup. They bring such beautiful flavor and joy to creations. Besides, I find it to be such a meditative experience to make these infusions. I have shared before how to make a violet syrup. I think it is so beautiful and exciting to watch because it is a color-changing syrup when acid, like lemon juice, is added. But I also this year really want to make a lilac syrup. I think that that would be really amazing and is something I would like to try. I also very much so want to make a red bud as well as a wild rose syrup. Now, there are not any red buds that I know of that grow around me anymore. They are trees that grow where I grew up, but they are not out where I live anymore. So maybe if they are in bloom, I can get my mother to send me some very kindly. But outside of the red buds, there are wild roses here, and I do really adore a wild rose syrup. I haven't made a wild rose syrup in recent years here. I did make an apple and wild rose jelly jam when I was still living in Virginia that I adored, but those roses were a little more peppery than the ones that are here, so definitely something to explore. And with that, those are these 7 practices that I am most looking forward to in this spring season. I hope you've been inspired by this, and please let me know if there are any practices that you are looking forward to in this season, and if there are any here that I've detailed that you would specifically like me to dive into more deeply. I'm really looking forward to this season ahead, and I have so much to share with you here. So with that, if you can and would like to, I'd really appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon. There I share art, herbal profiles, book recommendations, and monthly workshops. There's a ton of stuff over there, a lot to dive into, and if you are interested in building up your praxis more, there are a lot of resources there if you are interested. I also have another channel where I share more vlogs of my day-to-day life, more magic, herbalism, all of those good things. And I also wrote a book. It's all about herbal magic and will take the beginner to the intermediate. So if any of those things sound interesting to you, they will be linked in my description down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I can't wait to see you again soon.